Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
And I am Judith Brown, coming up in the headlines this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Ghana's longest-serving former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings laid to rest after a funeral service at the Black Star Square.
Also this evening, Majority Leader Mahama Yariga urges MPs to confront illegal mining in their constituencies.
And also in the bulletin, families of suspects in the Dadrin EPA attack protest demanding the release of relatives after police military swoop days ago detained dozens across Dadrin and PDM communities.
In business news tonight, Association of Ghana Industries renews strong push for overhaul of Public Procurement Act to drive local industrial growth and sustain Ghana's 24-hour economy vision.
And on the international front, Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, who is daughter of former South African President Jacob Zuma, resigns as a member of parliament over allegations that she tricked 17 men to fight in Russia. We are live around the world on 3news.com. We are starting from today's big stories having to do with the events at the Independence Square.
And the nation paused at the Black Star Square, also the Independence Square, united in grief and gratitude as hundreds gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings. And Yunam Haliga brings us a wrap of the tributes.
The mood at the Independence Square was heavy with loss, yet warm with shared memories, as Ghana paid tribute to the memory of one of its fiercest daughters, Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings. Dignitaries from all walks of life gathered to celebrate a woman whose influence stretched far beyond her role as First Lady. The tribute spoke not only to her political presence, but of her humanity, her strength, her fire, and her unmistakable passion that defined her life's work. Speaker after speaker recalled a woman who challenged norms, uplifted women, and stood firm in her convictions even when the world pushed back.
Mom, Queen of our hearts, your legacy lives on through the lessons you taught us, the love you shared, and the example you set. We borrow your shared strength of spirit. We are illuminated in the purity of your essence, consoled by the knowledge that your soul's mission is for a higher realm, for us, your four children. We will avowedly seek to sink our feet into the footsteps of your gallant ways, and with divine grace, emulate your dignified dance through life.
Nana Akufo-Addo's legacy was painted in stories shared, stories of resilience, of compassion, and of countless lives touched through her advocacy for women's rights and social development. But beyond the public achievement, stories of a kind person perhaps is what left many hearts warm.
To know her was to feel seen, lifted, and empowered. But beyond the power the world saw, who was she as a grandmother? What was it like to grow up beside that blaze of grace, elegance, mischief, and excitement? She was the most fascinating woman, with stories pouring out of her every time she spoke. These were not ordinary stories. They were vibrant, dramatic, action-packed tales delivered with a spark in her voice that made you feel as though you were living these stories right beside her.
Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings left behind more than memories. She left a blueprint for courage.
In the restless Ghana of the 1980s, she did not stand at the margins. She stepped into the arena, not merely to support a revolution, but to define one. The history of the NDC cannot be told without her name spoken boldly and with honor. She was not an observer of the struggle. She was an architect of its success.
Nana Akunedu Agyeman Rawlings may be gone, but the echoes of her work and her spirit continue to resonate. For many young women today, her life is a charted course towards achieving even greater heights for women. Enyonam Halika, TV3 News.
Now, the remains of the former First Lady Nana Akunedu Agyeman Rawlings have been interred at the National Memorial section of the military cemetery next to former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan at Burma Camp in Accra. George Queening was there and reports.
The Ghana Armed Forces led a procession to the National Memorial section of the military cemetery at Burma Camp after the burial service at the Black Star Square. The clergy ushered the remains of Nana Akunedu Agyeman Rawlings into the bosom of the Lord and sought eternal rest for her. Dignitaries, including Vice President Professor Nana Jinopoko Agyeman and the military hierarchy, graced the ceremony. Families, children and sympathizers could not control their tears as the remains were interred. The former First Lady joins other notable personalities whose bodies have been interred here at the National Memorial section of the military cemetery. There's former Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur, there's J.H. Mensah, there's Emeritus Professor Kwabena Nketia, and next to the former First Lady is Kofi Annan, former Secretary General of the UN. And may her soul continue to rest in perfect peace. George Queening, TV3 News, Military Cemetery, Burma Camp, Accra.
We'll stay on issues on the burial of the former First Lady, and she may have been gone, but cannot be forgotten for many generations to come. Former First Lady Nana Akunedu Agyeman Rawlings has been laid to rest, but her legacies will be told every time. In the following report, Evelyn Tingma takes a look at events that shaped her role as First Lady of the Republic.
Nana Akunedu Agyeman Rawlings' life has been a roller coaster of politics, activism, and personal struggles. Born on November 17, 1948, she was a teacher, a wife, and a partner to former President Jerry John Rawlings. She served as First Lady from 4th June 1979 to 24th September 1979, and later from 31st December 1981 to 7th January 2001. When she became First Lady in 1982, she used that platform to advocate for women's rights and social justice. Despite personal struggles, she remained a prominent figure in Ghanaian politics, continuing to inspire and advocate for the marginalized. Nana Akunedu Agyeman Rawlings was the first woman to run for President of the Republic in 2016. Her legacy extends beyond her political career, as she was a devoted wife to the late President Jerry John Rawlings and a mother to their 4 children. Several key events shaped her tenure and legacy as First Lady. The most popular is the 31st December Women's Movement, which she founded in 1982. This grassroots organization empowered millions of women, promoted economic independence, education, and health care. The movement established over 870 preschools, adult literacy programs, and income-generating initiatives. The former First Lady championed the landmark legislation of the Intestate Succession Law, PNDC Law 111, in 1985, which secured inheritance rights for widows and children and reshaped Ghana's customary laws. Thanks also to Nana Akunedu Agyeman Rawlings' advocacy, Ghana ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1991, making the country the first to do so. She also promoted women's participation in governance, education, and entrepreneurship, contributing to Ghana's economic growth. She represented Ghana globally, addressing women's rights, education, and health care at international forums. These, among many other events, cemented her legacy as a champion of women's empowerment, education, and social justice in Ghana. Nana Konedu Agyeman Rawlings, Ghana's former First Lady, passed away on October 23, 2025, at the age of 76 at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital after a short illness. Having been laid to rest, one can only pray for a peaceful repose of her soul. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
And may her bold soul continue to rest in peace. Let's now go to Parliament, where the Majority Chief Whip has criticized attempts by the minority to denigrate the who presided over the Pandai parliamentary election petition. The minority leader protested the delay of the full judgment despite assurances it would be ready by Friday. Meanwhile, the minority wants Speaker to reverse the referral of the Alexander Penyumark, the minority leader, to the Privileges Committee.
The issue about the Pandai parliamentary election rerun is gradually becoming entrenched. Today on the floor, the minority leader Alexander Penyumark indicated that the full judgment by the court is still not available. He says this has incapacitated the Honorable Matthew Ndam, who is unable to pursue his repeal of the case.
How can the extract, the court order be ready, telling the whole world that you are no more an MP, or directing an organ of state that go and conduct elections? But the substance that parties can look at and say, let me exercise my right, that one is not ready. I believe that our judiciary should help us the more and help the situation and bring certainty and clarity.
But the majority would disagree with him. Roxy Nelson Dafiamekpo is of the view that there is an attempt to run down the judge.
If you do not have the judgment, if you do not have the terms of the judgment, there is no way you can file grounds of appeal or a notice of appeal containing grounds of the appeal. So the attempt by the minority leader to claim on the floor of Parliament that the judge has done something untoward and that the Honorable Nina has been rather incapacitated in filing further processes is absolutely incorrect. There's a certain attempt to run the judge of the High Court under the bus or throw him under the bus, but we will not allow that.
He has asked the minority to get onto the grounds to campaign if indeed they want to reclaim that seat.
The battleground for rerun of this parliamentary elections is not in the foyer of Parliament, not a long press statement peddling or citing inaccurate facts. We are working, as we speak, NDC, we are working, we are in Pandai. They won't come and campaign. When they lose, then they blame innocent people.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minority Leader Patricia Piaget has called on the Speaker to reverse the referral of Penyumark to the Privileges Committee.
We in the minority, we are here and we demand the following: the immediate withdrawal of the Privileges Committee's petition. It is gross abuse of process and an affront to justice. The passage of
agencies towards the passage of the appropriation. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Parliament.
We stay in Parliament now, and Majority Leader Mahama Yariga has told members of Parliament to fight illegal mining in their constituencies and stop the public display of pretending to be concerned about the menace. He was responding to a request by the Minority Chief Whip, Frank Anodompre, for the Lands Minister to update the House next week on efforts made in the fight.
Destruction of our water bodies. The Majority Leader, in his response, said, amongst other things, the minister will be here as many times as possible. I have come and no show. Is it the case that the Minister of Lands is so busy that he cannot come to this house to, as it were, make a good representation in terms of the fight against Galamsey where we are? Now, Galamsey is all over the place. The fight against Galamsey cannot go the normal tangent because the needed feedback and the results we are looking for, we are not getting it. He must come and speak to the stability level of River Cobra Densu, he must tell us. He must tell us what we are doing to reclaim the lands that have been destroyed. There is something they call water guards. How are these water guards impacting on the fight? What is the incidental effect of water guards on the fight against Galamsey? As we go, the Ghanaians are worried. But let's stop this drama of pretending that we are concerned about Galamsey. Galamsey is happening in our various constituencies. What steps have you taken to deal with Galamsey in your own constituency? You are also a leader there. You are a member of parliament there. Each and every one of us, we are leaders and members of parliament, and we represent those constituencies, and we sit there and see the Galamsey happening. What have we done ourselves in our various constituencies? Before even asking the minister who is sitting in Accra to come and answer for Galamsey activities in our constituency right under our noses. You are sitting there, the people who are digging are your constituents, the police that are there are your police, the assembly is your assembly, and then the municipal and district security council is your municipal and district security council. You are a member of the assembly. Have you reported, the chiefs are your chiefs, have you reported what you have tried to do in your constituencies as members of parliament to deal with Galamsey? I haven't received any report from any of you regarding what you have done in your constituency to fight Galamsey. But come and stand in this house and pretend that you are concerned about Galamsey. They say charity begins at home. Show that you are concerned about Galamsey by your action in your constituencies.
In more news this evening, families of over 200 suspects linked to the attack on the Environmental Protection Authority EPA team and some journalists at Dadjin in the Ashanti region demonstrated on Friday asking for the release of the detainees. Dozens of suspects were picked up at Dadjin and Hwidiem during a combined police and military swoop on the dawn of the 12th of November. The suspects have been on remand for weeks since their arrest.
Where are the men?
On November 12th, a joint police-military swoop led to the arrest of dozens at Dadjin in the Adansi North district of the Ashanti region. The swoop was in response to an earlier attack on some journalists and EPA team led by the executive director. Dozens of suspects were detained after police screening. On Friday, family members besieged the Kumasi Central Prison demanding for their release. One of the family members spoke to the news team.
I have noticed that all the people in our area who are struggling with mental issues are being rounded up, and it is worrying. My own sister's husband became a victim. They caught him while he was simply using the washroom. Looking at the scene was disturbing, and even a child fell and got hurt during this incident. I only ever see Amikas handling situations like this on television, never in real life.
Ghana police Looking at what the Ghana police is doing in the community makes me sad. The way victims are treated is quite troubling. They are picked up early in the morning and sent to court within just 3 days.
The police is yet to issue a statement on the development.
Let's head to the Upper East region now, and residents of that region have been urged to take advantage of the upcoming gun amnesty period and surrender their illicit arms to the police. The call was made during a capacity building workshop for border security agencies in Paga. Kashra Senala, our correspondent in the Upper East region, has more in this report.
The proliferation of small arms and light weapons remains one of the most pressing security challenges. These illegal firearms are often at the heart of violence that destabilizes communities, requiring coordinated, multi-sectorial and sustained action. Out of a total of 2.3 million firearms in civilian hands in Ghana, an estimated 1.2 million are illicit arms. To fortify Ghana's border at Paga against the infiltration of illegal arms, the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, the United Nations Development Programme, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and the Global Firearms Programme organized a capacity building workshop for border security agencies.
We want to be able to put them in a position where they can easily detect when some people are trying to traffic these illicit arms or ammunition into the country, whether parts and components, either into the country or out of the country. They should be in a position to detect and be able to apprehend the people behind it, and should be able to investigate to make sure they also are able to prosecute them.
In 2024 alone, the United Nations recorded at least 48,000 conflict-related civilian deaths, with small arms responsible for up to 30% in some cases. Principal Revenue Officer Martin Dogbele, the officer in charge of Paga Customs and chairman of the Paga Border Security Committee, urged stronger collaboration among security agencies to curb the infiltration of arms.
BOSEC is very vibrant here. At various times and in various forms we share information, and this is helping us a lot to operate. In fact, we have very good collaboration with our counterparts across the border as well, and they've also feed us with information regarding movement of drugs, arms, and all that.
The Paga border in the Katsina and Nankana West district is one of the largest in the country, serving as a critical gateway for the movement of cargo to and from the Sahel region. The district chief executive, Stephen Akurugu, urged residents to take the gun amnesty seriously. Castro Sinyala, TV3 News, Paga.
No, the district.
From that region, let's come to the Ashanti region, where the Kumasi High Court has ruled that both Priscilla Ofori, popularly known as Odobroni, and Akosia Sewa Fosu are the customarily married wives of the late high life icon Daddy Lumba. The judgment, delivered by Justice Dorinda Smith Arthur, dismissed the plaintiff's request to be declared as the only surviving wife.
The legal dispute erupted after the musician's death, when the plaintiff, Akosia Sewa, asserted that she was Lumba's sole legal wife, relying on a German marriage certificate to establish her claim. But the court found her argument fundamentally flawed. Kumasi High Court Judge Justice Dorinda Smith Arthur ruled that the document presented as a marriage certificate was merely an extract whose authenticity could not be confirmed. The court noted that the certificate had not been validated by the Ghana Embassy in Germany, an essential requirement that must bear an official diplomatic seal. Additionally, the document was signed by an individual who lacked the legal authority to do so. Justice Smith Arthur observed that although the plaintiff acknowledged that Lumba had returned to Ghana due to ill health, she herself made no effort to join him, undermining her own assertion of abandonment. After a comprehensive review of all evidence, the court concluded that the customary marriages of both Odobroni and Akosia Sewa to the deceased were valid and legally recognized.
Oh, I think it is fair because it's a win-win situation for all. Both women are wives, which is very paramount. This is the peace that Daddy Lumba so much desired, and we are hopeful that 13th December he'll be buried.
I disagree, but I respect it.
So going for that, do you have anything to do?
It will depend on what my client says. You see, when my client says that, I should appear away.
The court finally ruled that nothing should hinder the release of the musician's body to the family for burial. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
And back to the Greater Accra region now, and at the Mervynpick Ambassa Hotel, a Women Empowerment Summit was held to address the growing challenge of gender-based violence in Ghana. The event brought together key policymakers and stakeholders to share their perspectives.
Gender-based violence remains a major issue confronting many in Ghana. During the summit, Justice Ifeasewa Asare-Botwe commended DOSU for their dedication, but questioned the charges leveled against perpetrators.
You charge assault when there is no mark, but if somebody hits somebody
naturally, with a stick, you will get a mark. Even if there's no mark, if you charge the person with causing unlawful harm and you are able to prove assault, you will be getting a conviction for an offense other than what is charged. I mean, these are basic things that everybody knows.
A medical expert, Dr. Vanessa Asiye Atipu, highlighted that certain limitations continue to hinder victims from accessing justice.
In as much as advocacy and education of the laws is important, we need to actively ensure that its implementation is key and accountability must be effective.
DOSO Senior Police Officer ACP Owusua Treme urged the public to be open-minded.
The challenges are real. So I always say that let us listen to the police side. Until you get the police side of the information, you will always aid people to say that nothing is happening at DOSO. But there is so much that we are doing at DOSO.
As part of its corporate social responsibility, Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel explained that the summit aimed to raise awareness and deepen understanding of the justice system.
It appears that the focus always is on blaming the victims. But we want abusers and will be abusers to know that there is a legal regime. There are sanctions and penalties for one who gets himself involved in JBV. But again, to give hope to the victims, then that is why we decided to create this summit.
You're still watching News 360. Stay with us. Business, sports and entertainment all coming up.
Welcome to Business on News360. I am Menu Afol. The Association of Ghana Industries is renewing calls for a comprehensive overhaul of the Public Procurement Act to ensure government spending directly supports Ghanaian manufacturers and the country's push toward a 24-hour economy. The call was made at the AGI 65th National Annual General Meeting and Job Fair in Accra.
President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Ayimdake, says the current procurement framework fails to prioritize local industry, limiting competitiveness and slowing down industrial growth.
A reformed procurement regime that is being actioned must be intentional and channel public spending to Ghanaian manufacturers, will expand local production capacity as well as create the skill needed to support round-the-clock industrial operation and the 24-hour economy.
Dr. Ayimdake believes strategic reforms will help industries overcome long-standing constraints, enhance productivity, and create jobs, especially for the youth.
Influx of unfairly traded imports of electrical cables, beverages, cooking oils, wheat flour, foam products, and many other products, and many substandard quality items continue to flood our markets through the right channels and through smuggling.
Meanwhile, Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority has called for partnership with businesses, including the AGI, to create a forum for sharing intelligence and support anti-smuggling efforts.
Away from that, a new study warns that aging cocoa trees, declining soil fertility, and the rapid spread of the cocoa swollen shoot virus disease are reducing yields and putting the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of farmers at risk. Researchers say the disease alone is cutting output by as much as 200 kilograms per hectare in some communities.
Study warns that aging cocoa trees, declining soil fertility, and the rapid spread of the cocoa swollen shoot virus disease are reducing yields and putting the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of farmers at risk. Researchers say the disease alone is cutting output by as much as 200 kilograms per hectare in some communities.
We also have conducted some activities in link to the certification. So I'm sure that you know about the fair trade certification, the organic certification. And we have found that in Ghana, they really contribute to improve the profit for the farmers as well.
Farmers participating in the dialogue called for higher farm gate prices, better access to inputs, and tougher action against illegal mining, which continues to destroy farmlands.
If you increase the cocoa price, then that's providing them an incentive to engage more into cocoa and to invest to provide some solutions to cocoa swollen shoot, for instance. So that's real incentive for the world cocoa economy.
The Cocoa for Future team is urging Cocoa Board and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to intensify rehabilitation programs, provide disease-resistant planting materials, and expand long-term monitoring systems to guide policy. With Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire supplying more than 60% of the world's cocoa, researchers warn that without coordinated action, the future sustainability of the sector is at risk.
We'll now wrap up the segment with updates from the forex and commodities markets. My name is Menu Afol.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, ahead of Hearts of Folks match day 12 Ghana Premier League tie against the Vision FC on Saturday, head coach of the Phobians, Didi Dramani, has emphasized the importance of walking away with maximum points. The Phobians, who lie 6th on the league log, are winless in their last 3 games, drawing 2 and losing 1.
We are a big club and we need to have outcomes. And we need to have positive outcomes. But unfortunately, out of 3 games where we were anticipating for maximum 9 points, we came out with just 2 points. You know, someone would say, there are 2 away games. Yeah, they are away games, but for us, we don't care whether we are playing home or we are playing away. Every game we approach it just as it's a game that we need to fight for the 3 points. In all these games, we have tried to fight for the 3 points, but still we didn't get the right outcomes. We are still very positive that we'll turn things around. And so a lot has been done in terms of how easily sometimes we lose the ball in the final phase, where we could have also recycled our approach in terms of how we wanted to attack, so that we can open more spaces and create more chances. And so we need to be more clinical and we need to be more decisive in some very key.
Now, still on the Ghana Premier League, former 11 Wonders head coach J.E. Sapong has cautioned coaches against taking up an appointment by the club, which is faced with a myriad of problems. Reflecting on his 20-day stint at 11 Wonders, J.E. Sapong opened up on the challenges he faced while at the helm.
I don't know if each coach will go there and then help them to survive. I don't know. Because right now, like I said, if any coach dares to go there, you are digging your own grave.
Oh.
Yeah, yes.
Are you not deterring people from going for that
no,
job?
no, you can go. I'm just speaking on TV. If you like, listen to me. If you don't like, it's not by force. That is my way of I'm telling you. In the Olympics, you are talking about Olympics, they have the management in place. So the management will talk to you. Other teams have management in place, they will talk to you. This one, I didn't see any management member. It was the team manager, myself, and the assistant coach. 9 members of the game, of the time, even the kids officer refused coming to training. The goalkeeper's trainer didn't come. The physiotherapist was not there. Coaches may go there, but I'm telling you, this is what we are going to see. Unless, of course, within 24 hours or 48 hours, things have changed. By me.
That was J.E. Sapong, the former head coach of 11 Wonders FC. Let's take a look at the fixtures in the Ghana Premier League. Of course, Hearts of Oak do have a match against Vision FC on Saturday. Bichem United will face Hoho United. Brekum Chelsea will face off against Samatex. Gold Stars will host the Diana FC. Hearts of Lions versus Karela. Holy Stars versus Nations FC. Sredro All Blacks will host Young Apostles as Sante Kotoko will be at the Babaya Sports Stadium and host Midiama SC. And 11 Wonders, who have struggled and are currently bottom of the Ghana Premier League table, will be hosting Dreams FC. Now in England, the Black Queens officially opened camp in Birmingham on Thursday ahead of the team's high-profile friendly tie against England's Lionesses. Kimla's Björkegren opened camp with 16 players and 6 more players joined the team for the second training session, which took place earlier on Friday, increasing the squad size to 22. The game is set to take place on December 2nd at the St. Mary's Stadium in Southampton, and the 2024 WAFCON bronze medalist would hope to leverage on the encounter to build momentum for the 2026 Continental Showpiece. That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. to modernize its transport and logistics network has taken a major step forward. LMI Holdings has led a high-level joint site visit to the proposed Esikuma port in the Esujaman district, one of the flagship components of the Transvolta logistics network.
At Esikuma in the Esujaman district, the multi-modal transport corridor for Ghana is beginning to take shape. LMI Holdings, through its Transvolta Logistics Network project, brought together national and international partners for a strategic joint site visit, marking a major milestone towards the establishment of the Esikuma port. The proposed port is designed as a major roll-on, roll-off and container transshipment point, connecting Tema ports through Lake Volta to Ghana's northern corridor and onward to the Sahel. Once operational, it is expected to reduce pressure on major highways, cut logistic costs and speed up delivery timelines for manufacturers and exporters. Phase 1 will use the Esikuma as a transport pivot, moving freight by lake to key northern landing sites such as Yeji and Makango to speed up domestic trade and open access to the Sahel. Emmanuel Apote-Menu is Managing Director of LMI Logistics.
All the customs agencies at the port handling transit containers should be relocated to Debre Port so that containers will then be cleared at Debre Port. What are we trying to do? We're trying to have a quick turnaround time to reduce the landing logistics costs between 15 to 25%.
The contractor, Samuel Yebua Ofori, gave more technical details of the project.
The Ro-Ro ramp simply is the first phase of the project where we construct a ramp and then barges are pushed all the way from the south all the way to the north. The second phase is the container port where we're going to have the various containers using the railway line arriving at the Esikuma port. Might also use the road as well.
With construction phases expected to intensify in the coming years, the proposed Esikuma port stands as one of the most ambitious logistics projects in Ghana today.
In international news this evening, Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, a daughter of former South African President Jacob Zuma, has resigned as an MP following allegations that she tricked 17 men to fight for Russia as mercenaries in Ukraine. Duduzile, who became a member of parliament for the main opposition party last year, has said in an affidavit that she thought the men were going to Russia for lawful training. MK says it was her decision to resign as she wants to focus her efforts on ensuring the return of those trapped in Ukraine's war-torn Donbas region.
And still on the international front, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said his chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, has resigned following an anti-corruption raid on his home. Yermak, 54, has been Zelensky's closest advisor throughout Russia's full-scale invasion, but has come under increasing pressure over an escalating scandal, even though he has not been accused of any wrongdoing. Zelensky recently appointed his chief of staff to head crucial negotiations with U.S. President Donald Trump, leading a new drive to end the Russian-Ukraine war. It was a pleasure coming your way over the last hour. Thank you so much for watching News 360. We also have many of the stories we brought to you this evening on our website, 3news.com. I am Martin Asiedu-Date.
And I am Judith Brown. Have a good night.